that is where Bloom's is coming in.
Yes.
Okay? But I will help you crystallize Bloom in a different way later on, because that is called a different taxonomy, and there is a solo taxonomy that will give you a more bigger picture why Bloom's is it's still instrumental, very useful. So here, you will design to elicit that verb to be activated. You have to activate the verb. Okay? So that means it's either teacher, okay, activated, peer activated, or student activated. There are some activities that teacher must activate the activity. There are some activities whereby they will learn it from their peer, okay, like group activities, you know, and so on. And then there are some that still very much student, you know, activity. They need to do it, okay. Then, when it comes to the assessment task, you will see that the highest level verb to be clearly manifested becomes the final grade. So, meaning that verb that we try to enact has certain level of achievement. Okay? And that is where we will differentiate now how far did they benefit from the learning outcome. Okay? So, if the question is, the assessment on Catherine is how well did they write, okay, the creative article or whatever publishable material, there will be some analysis further. So if you will notice, this is more qualitative than quantitative, because constructive alignment promotes qualitative assessment, not quantitative assessment. Okay? Now, Hutton gave us this paradigm, which I believe, yeah, it's a bit tricky because there are a lot of arrows. But I think what is being given as an information is to see intended learning outcome, okay, in relation to learning and in relation to the assessment. Okay? So no problem, I will share this to you, but take note, you need to have the right criteria for assessment. Okay? That's why the question is, why am I assessing? How am I assessing? And who will do the assessment? We will see that later on. Now, in the assessment part, if you are using constructive alignment, you cannot avoid this. There is an intended outcome that you may not plan, but still achieve by the students.
Certain values.
Yeah. It depends on the degree, on how they perform, and how did they imbibe the knowledge and the understanding. That's why what Bloom's is telling is just to activate the verb. What the Solow taxonomy you will find out is that it gives you a different perspective on the level of understanding. That is where the learners differentiate. They have the same learning outcome, they have the same activities, they have the same assessment, but the level of understanding will differ. How you will find it out, you will see it in the assessment. How you will categorize it, you will see it in the categories of Solow taxonomy. Now, there are two forms of assessment, isn't it? Are you familiar with this? I think Prof. Chan mentioned this, isn't it?
Yes.
The norm, okay, and then the criterion reference, you know? And most of the time, it's always the norm. Okay? The grading system that we are doing now is norm, because you are being compared to your classmates. How you are performing against the group, you know? So you against the world. And it's not working.
No.
It's not working. Why?
Feel like an end.
Huh? Why is it not working? Why do you think so? Why is it norm reference is not working when it comes to learning?
Because it is not, basically the students are not participating actively in the learning. They basically regurgitate the learning. They just produce the results that we want.
That's one. Another thing.
Another thing is also because it demotivates those who do not do well.
Yeah. So when you strike the norm, meaning if you are not in the normal curve,
Yep.
you're dead,
Yes.
isn't it? It's either you are a star or you're dead.
A star as in an ostracized star.
Even the best are being ostracized, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
You are a nerd, you know,
Yes.
something like that,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
You see, so the idea of the norm reference is not promoting, okay, personal development, because you always compare yourself to other people,
Yes.
which should not be.
Yes.
That's why I think this value must reshape the educational approach. We should not compare students from another one. If we just want to see the general performance, fine, but not to label each student against the rest,
Yes.
because it's not good. Labeling is not good. That's why I think even in my previous experience in education, I think this encouragement came in when I think I lost my chance to be in the top 10. You know, when I was in high school. I'm not an achiever actually. You know. I really don't like those things that, you know, your name should be there, you know, something like that. I'm not like that. So my teacher is always pushing me and said, you know, you're always an underachiever. You can do better. You can always, your name can be there. So because of this prompting, you know, the system is prompting you to be like that. So I said, okay, why not? So I was able to enter. And then one time, this math teacher, you know, gave me a grade that discriminated me from the rest and removed my name from the top 10. And from that time on, I promised myself I'm not going to achieve it.
Yes, because assessment is actually more of a point for motivation, much more than just assessing the person's performance.
It's still external motivation, isn't it?
Yes.
Giving high grades, giving this label, you know, all
Yes.
these things. These are all external. Students are not appreciating it from the value perspective. That's the point. So here, what they are giving emphasis is the criterion reference, meaning how much did you really achieve in the learning process. So nobody will be compared to another student, but it is your individual performance. Okay? Based on the criteria that you set. So the same from this. So this is the SOLO taxonomy. It's quite long, that's why they call it SOLO. The structure of the observed learning outcome. Observed, meaning it must be seen. It must be demonstrated by the students. Okay? And this is something that we can measure. So it means performance is important. Okay? Not just ideas. So it provides a systematic way of describing how learners' performance grow in complexity when mastering many tasks. Okay? We will see that as we move along. Okay, it can be used to define the course intended learning outcome. What is the picture of this solo? It's like this. Okay? So we have the first level, which is no understanding at all, meaning they don't have the idea. Okay? And then they have to move on until the extended abstract. And these are the SOLO taxonomy levels of understanding. Bloom's have his own version of it.
Yeah, but this one you can see that it's aligned along the constructive.
Yes. Bloom is not talking about constructive alignment.
No.
Bloom is just giving us the idea of the verbs, isn't it?
Yes.
And how the verbs are.
Yes.
Whether it is a basic understanding, whether it is a complex understanding, isn't it?
Yes.
But here, SOLO taxonomy is giving us what kind of level, you know, students can achieve at a certain point. Okay? So here, when you come up with your learning outcome, you have to ask yourself, on what level the students can achieve this learning outcome? If I will ask Catherine, for the sake of an example, writing a creative article or paper, how are you going to classify, you know, your projected student achievement? Where do you see it? The unistructural talks about only one concept, meaning the student can define it.
No, hers will be way more complex.
Yours is more complex because writing an article means expressing what they know and what they fully understand and how far did they go with their discussion, isn't it? Whether they cross the line of relational until abstract. See? So this is very critical where Bloom's failed in a sense. You know? Yeah, I mean, I think Bloom's were able to identify the basic information from identifying to analysis to evaluation, isn't it? But in applying it, you know, I think that is where the limitations of Bloom's are. Here, the solo taxonomy by Biggs gives us a perspective that students can achieve a certain level of understanding, you know, based on their own demonstration or performance. And they can even ask themselves, your assignment is like this. If you will grade your work, where do you think is the understanding? Are you describing only one concept? Are you describing a multiple idea? Are you describing a relational idea? Are you describing a more extended understanding? Okay? That's why in one of my sessions, I asked the participants, I don't know if you were there, I asked the definition of what is a flower. Can you define me what is a flower? What is a flower? You women love to receive flowers. Can you give me the essential meaning of what is a flower?
It's something that gives me the nice feeling, something that calms me down, you know, that appreciates beauty.
For me, a flower is more of a presentation of a person's feeling to another person.
I see it for myself. I don't need to receive that the flowers will be
See, that is the variation. What is a flower, Catherine?
Something sweet and nice.
Oh my God, I give you chocolates, the flowers. How about you? What is a flower?
Flower is something to love, to show your love.
You guys are...
Now you see what we
So now you see why the students you buckle. What is a flower for you? The only male.
after the daughter.
Huh?
We have to ask him also.
I will answer, don't worry.
Something to be appreciated, something to be, what do you call this, things are nice.
You guys are trying to break your brains. No, you're already on the extended abstract. I'm asking only a concept.
Oh.
What is a flower is the question. I'm not saying what represents flower, what gives flowers, what who, whatever. I'm not asking that. I'm asking what is the flower all about? What is it?
A life form.
Huh?
A life.
I have life. Am I a flower? See?
Because we are giving you the different meanings of flower.
If I will go back to my time in my university where my philosophy teacher asked me that, okay, that's why I cannot forget it. I cannot answer it as well at that time. My philosophy teacher gave me this definition. A flower is a part of the plant that usually bears fruit. Now, can you argue?
That's a fact.
Can you argue with that concept?
No.
Nobody can argue, it's true, isn't it?
Yes,
It's a part of the plant that usually bears fruit, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, if the student will tell me that, it's one concept, okay? It's a conceptual idea, it's a unilateral definition. I might gain it from my professor at the time, but if I will ask again,